Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. I've done a few runs of Prophecy and tried out some of the new roles, and I'm here to let you know how these weapons are gonna stack up to our current loot. First up, we have to look at the origin trait. The origin trait is called Crossing Over, and is one of an extremely rare few that actually increases our weapon's damage. The origin trait reads, this weapon has increased range and handling for the top half of the magazine, while rounds from the bottom half of the magazine deal increased damage. You can actually see when each effect is present with this light or dark buff, kind of like the whole Prophecy dungeon. It's cute. And this swap does happen at exactly half the mag. Now then, the big thing we all want to know, how much damage does this origin trait add to our weapons? It is a massive 2%. Now, it's actually not that simple. In my numbers, it seems to bounce around 1.7 to 2%, but I'm just gonna make the generalization that with Bungie's rounding of numbers, it's just a 2% increase. So does this mean anything for our weapons and their desirability? Not really. In PvE, 2% means pretty much nothing for a primary weapon, and there's no weapons here in this dungeon that really feel like great PvE weapons. I'll cover the god rolls in a second, but Crossing Over just isn't a game changer for PvE weapons. But even outside of PvE, and as I slightly dip my toes into PvP, this isn't gonna really change anything, as a 2% increase is usually just 1 or 2 points of damage. This might affect some like fringe cases, but you're gonna have to wait for a PvP guy to let you know how that goes. Now, I'm gonna do a quick rundown of the god rolls and what they mean for us PvE players. Starting with what drops from the first encounter, Relentless, a strand high impact pulse, has a god roll of Slice or Rapid Hit and Hatchling. Am I gonna go for this? No. Pulses kinda suck in PvE unless it's the BXR Battler, and this weapon isn't gonna really change that. The other weapon from encounter 1 is the Prosecutor, an arc precision auto rifle with a god roll being likely just rewind rounds and volt shot. This has some pretty nice synergy, so you can apply jolt to a champ or an elite and then just lay on the trigger to get as many jolt procs as possible without needing to reload. But is it better than Ikelos? I'd say it can contend, but SMGs just feel really good in PvE, so I don't see this dethroning Ikelos anytime soon. For the second encounter, the Cube, it drops the Sudden Death Shotgun, a Void Aggressive Frame. The god roll here is looking like Threat Detector and Trench Barrel or 1-2 Punch, or maybe Repulsor Brace and Destabilizing Rounds if you want to be a Void Shield Goblin. There's also probably a case for Envious Assassin in the first column, but this gun just seems pretty meh when compared to our other shotgun options, so I'm not too keen on farming for this one. Encounter 2 also drops the Adjudicator, a Kinetic Precision SMG, with a god roll of Feeding Frenzy and Kinetic Tremors, or maybe Rampage. It's a very basic weapon, and unfortunately, I still don't think kinetic primaries bring enough to the table to be chosen over energy ones. So until something changes there, you're probably gonna stick with Ikelos or Callous Mini Tool. And then for the last encounter, dark as before, a rapid solar pulse rifle, which has a crazy god roll of heal clip, kill clip. Yeah, it's a bit gimmicky, but at least heal clip does grant cure ×2 now. Yeah, it's not super good. Outside of this roll, it's just a worse BXR, so yet another meh PvE weapon. But the last one is Judgement, the Stasis 140 hand cannon. It's pretty trash. You get Demolitionist and Adrenaline Junkie. Take it or leave it. I think this weapon was made with PvP in mind. And actually, on that note, pretty much every weapon seems to be made for PvP and not really for PvE. But I guess that makes sense since we did get the new sandbox today. So that's actually all of it. Like I said, I don't really think these weapons are for us PvP players. I'll likely still farm the dungeon, but if you decide to pass, I don't think you're gonna be missing much. Thank you for watching this far. If you're here, just know that you're greatly appreciated as I get back in the swing of things and uploading. If you wanna help me and support the channel, a like, a comment, a subscription goes a very long way, gets me into the algorithm. But if you wanna support me and the channel and you can't think of a comment down below, Prophecy. And with that, as usual, I hope you are having a great day, and I hope to see you around.